Hi, I'm Howard Beck here with Rohan Nadkarni and Ben Pickman. Guys, an awkward, interesting moment on TNT last week where Shaquille O'Neal kind of called out Donovan Mitchell on live television. Let's take a look.
You are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right. That's it.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I wanted you to hear it.
I've been hearing, Shaq, I've been hearing that since my rookie year. You know, I'm just going to get better and do what I do.
Good.
At the end of the day.
Well, that's what I wanted you to hear you say.
Yes,
Love
sir.
your game, brother. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man. Rohan, do the retired old heads have a point when they're picking on today's young players?
Okay, there's actually a lot of conversations that need to be had about that clip. First of all, people are always criticizing inside the NBA. These guys are out of touch. I agree. Charles, Kenny, Shaq, they're out of touch. But that's what makes the show great. Like, it's a very entertaining TV show, I should say. It's very funny. Is it a great basketball show? Probably not. And here's where we see that come through. Donovan Mitchell was playing great. The Jazz are doing really well. Is it criticism? Is it motivation? It's not even clear what he's trying to do or say in that clip. Is he trying to like get more out of Donovan Mitchell? Is he trying to get a rise out of him? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And if Shaq does want to motivate him, there are ways to do it that don't involve trying to embarrass him on national television. For example, Dwayne Wade is a mentor to Donovan Mitchell. Texts him all the time. I mean, there are ways to kind of motivate these guys that don't involve kind of these, weird old school tactics that inside guys love to use. But I mean, ultimately, do I think any of this is that big of a deal? I don't know. It's not great. Now a lot of people will use this criticism to say, like, why is NBA media coverage so negative from the old players? I just look at it as like, listen, you got to watch Inside the NBA for the entertainment and not take it too seriously.
I agree with you, Ro, that I don't know how big of a deal it is going to be in the end, but I do think it is a little bit detrimental that, Inside the NBA, for all of its glory, and it is still incredibly entertaining as a TV show, does kind of preach this narrative that if you don't win an NBA championship, then like you're a complete bust, your career is a complete failure. That's kind of the classic Shaq bit at Chuck, right? That Chuck, of course, has never won a ring, and Shaq reminds him over and over and over again. And I think these kind of comments at Donovan Mitchell do kind of reinforce that narrative or try and reinforce the narrative the show is projecting, right? You think about that moment for Donovan Mitchell. He's just coming off a 36-point performance. Utah had won its seventh game in a row, closing down in the middle of a 7-game win streak. And so Mitchell's played a great game. And so what is really the benefit, I guess, the upside of asking that question? You're just kind of creating a moment and a clip. And I do think it is a little bit negative for the league as a whole.
Yeah, listen, Inside the NBA is entertainment, and it's basketball entertainment, and you got to strike the right balance, and I'll leave it to the individual viewers to decide what that right balance is or whether or not they enjoy it. I don't have any issue with any of that. I don't even have an issue with Shaquille O'Neal or Chuck or Kenny telling any of today's current players, listen, I don't believe in you. That's fine. That is part of the job. But the problem I had last week was that Shaq didn't really spell it out in that exchange. It just sounded like a broadside that was meant to evoke some kind of response or a controversy or a strange moment, and it was a strange moment. If Shaq had said, listen, Donovan, I think your game is great, but here's where I think you're falling short and why I might not believe in your ability to lead the Jazz to a championship, then he would have given Donovan Mitchell something substantive to respond to. Am I critiquing Shaq's interviewing techniques? I guess I am. But that's where it came down for me. You can't get a constructive exchange if Donovan Mitchell doesn't know where you're coming from. But to Shaq's point, guys, does he have a point? Is there something still missing in Donovan Mitchell's game that might prevent him from leading the Jazz all the way?
I think it's still a little bit too early to say that. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, there are only 3 or 4 guys in the league who we know for a fact can lead their team to a championship, right? I mean, even Giannis, the back-to-back MVP, hasn't made it to a finals yet. So I think it's a little bit early to say whether Donovan Mitchell does or doesn't have it. I don't even think he's started his second contract yet. So I think once he's making $30-40 million a year and he's expected to lead the team on that level, it might be a little bit more fair to judge him. But listen, the Jazz are playing great right now, like Ben mentioned, in the middle of a big winning streak when that interview occurred. They look like one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the West right now. So let's see what happens in the postseason, Howard.
I do think, though, you want Donovan Mitchell long-term to do a little bit more, say, off-ball or create offense for his teammates a little bit better, right? Through his career, he's only averaging around 4 or 5 assists per game and 4 rebounds per game. And we've seen his scoring be pretty steady at around the 24-point per game mark these last 3 seasons, right? We have seen this year Donovan Mitchell improve his three-point shooting, which we know should only help Utah's offense open up and help Utah long-term. The Jazz have been one of the league's best teams this year on both sides of the ball, on both offense and defense. And a lot of that is because of Donovan Mitchell. But I think Ro is right at its core, right? There's only 2, 3, 4 guys who can lead their teams to titles consistently. And frankly, I don't know if Mitchell is going to be that in the short or long term.
Yeah, look, if you're Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James or Kevin Durant and a couple of others, then you can say, yeah, that's the guy to lead a team to a championship almost single-handedly, although let's face it, no one in this league does it single-handedly. Even Shaquille O'Neal didn't do it single-handedly, had a little help from Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant over the years. But I would say this. Donovan Mitchell is a young player who has done nothing but improve every single year. No one's ever doubted his character or his work ethic. So to doubt him right now and to say that he can't get there, I think is a little short-sighted and a bit too harsh. Okay, for more, check out SI.com.